Paul, before we look ahead to the weekend, just your reflections on what was a thrilling final day last Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it was thrilling. Obviously, it wasn't in the script that Truro would be 3-0 up after 8 minutes. But, I mean, ultimately we did our job, and worst ways we had to come out of that game having finished second, in my opinion, which we did. Overriding thoughts of the day were that the boys were magnificent. They ran and they ran and they ran and they kept going right till the end. But my overriding feeling of the whole day was the fans. I've been very, very fortunate to have been involved and employed in and earned a career out of football since the day I left school. I haven't seen away support like that. It was absolutely phenomenal. So that's my overriding feeling of the day.
You now know who your opponents are.
We do.
Boreham Wood. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I went to watch the game on Tuesday night, Boreham Wood against Dorking. It's not about who I would prefer to play. It's not about who do I think is the better team. On the night, they were both excellent. It was a really good game for the neutral, and win for a tough test. Boreham Wood are an excellent football team.
Obviously, you played them a couple of times this season. Did you learn more about them on Tuesday night?
Well, they're playing a different shape now. The manager's changed that. It's not about... I learned what I needed to learn from it. They're an excellent team. It's going to be a tough game.
How do you stay calm, cool and collected during a week like this? I mean, Dave and I were at Hemel Hempstead. A lot of us were at Hemel Hempstead. We were talking about on the radio that you seem to be the coolest man in football on that day. How do you keep that up this week?
I think experience has got a big part to play in it. I think we spoke a few times already that I've been very fortunate to be involved in some big games in football, and the more you're in them, not the easier it is, but I think experience, you deal with it your way. You know, it's me being irate and me being very up and down this week isn't going to help anybody. If I do my job properly, the boys will be ready for the game, and I say this so many times. We'll win, lose or draw. Well, we won't draw. we'll go through or we won't. So we'll be prepared, we'll be ready, as will Boreham Wood. I'm sure it's going to be a great spectacle. And I've learned an awful lot about myself this year. I can't worry about things that aren't in my control. It saps energy. It takes energy out of you. It takes your spring out of your step. So it's not about me being calm. It's about, I think I've done my job this week, and the boys are in a good place. My players have been absolutely incredible this year. Absolutely top class. They missed out on a league title by 2 goals. They've been top class. Go and do it again.
You're an experienced football, as you just said. How much has Neil Warnock and his experience been helping with this playoff run?
Well, he helps me. I speak to him 3 or 4 times a week. We talk about all sorts of different things. And for me to not tap into his experience of playoff games would be very, very silly.
And you mentioned there about the fans at Hemel Hempstead on Saturday. Another sellout here at Plainmoor. Yeah. They've got a massive part to play this weekend, haven't they, the fans?
Huge part. They've had a huge part to play all season. And again, since the day I got the job, they've been really supportive, very welcoming of myself. Right behind the team. I'm sure it'll be a good occasion again on Saturday.
And how's your team looking, Paul?
We're okay. Dylan Morgan is obviously out, as we know, and Jordan Dyer will be out as well.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I think so. Sorry, Dave, go on.
Did you stay to the final whistle on Tuesday?
I did.
Oh, well done.
I did.
Yeah. You didn't get
There's
early.
I would have left early and got him at 3 o'clock, or stayed till the end and got him at 3:30, Dave. So it makes no difference.
No, true. No.
I did stay right till the end. It was. Do you know what? What I actually got caught up in the game. It was a great game. It was a brilliant atmosphere and two teams slugging it out. It was good to watch.
I want to ask you about a couple of your substitutes on Saturday, a couple of players in particular. You brought Brad Ash back from his loan.
Yep.
He came on, full of running, really looked up for it. Tell me a little bit about bringing him back from Bath.
You've just answered it. He's been in a good run of form at Bath. He hasn't been called back earlier because we've been in a good run of form. And I just felt that against Hemel, he would come on and if we needed to roll the dice or we needed those extra few goals, I had a feeling that he might be able to provide that. As you said, he came on. One thing with Brad Ash is he's so honest and he works tremendously hard. I thought he had a positive impact when he came on as well. And I've got to say, around training and stuff, he's been first class.
And I mean, all the substitutes had a good impact on Saturday, but Dean Moxey was tremendous when he came on. A bit of, not so much a steadying influence. He was also really up and at him from the minute.
Again, I mean, Dean always trains well. You can see why he's had such a long and successful career. He works tremendously hard every day. I just felt that not the Hemel game, I'm not saying a pressure game, but in a game where you need calm heads, I thought he came on and showed that.
Have you got 5 subs on Saturday, or is it up to 7?
We're allowed 7 subs on Saturday.
So goalkeeper on the bench?
Possibly yet to be decided. The subs are yet to be decided. We can use, I believe we can use 5 in the 90 minutes, and we can use an extra one in extra time if it goes to extra time.
Interesting. Thank you.
Talking of extra time, are you introducing extra penalty practice in training this week?
I think we will be prepared as we can be going into the game.
When in penalty practice in training, have you got any tricks or have you learnt any over the years to try and make penalty practice in training as close as possible to? It can't replicate exactly, can it? But with extra Mars bars,
abuse them as they're running up.
Yeah.
Just scream.
Yeah. Do you try and or is it just strike the ball, and all that kind of stuff?
I've got my thoughts on penalty shootouts. I took penalties as a player and I loved it and I embraced it, and it's going to sound really egotistical, I loved the fact that everyone was watching me take the penalty. Some players are petrified of it. So I've got a couple of little coping mechanisms for if it comes to that.
And do you know what your famous 5 would be, really?
No. Honestly, no. Because
will that be decided?
Well, who's on the pitch?
Yeah.
Who's on the pitch?
Who's going to make the decision then?
Personally, I think the players do. I can't force a player to take a penalty who doesn't want to take a penalty. I think I've been in a good few penalty shootouts, and in my experience, you will definitely get players, before I've even said anything, saying, I want to take one. Go on then. I think it's very difficult to pick 5 now. If you said to me, I've got to pick 5 to go out and score 5 penalties now, I could do that. Whether they would or not is a different thing. But it's the feel of the day, isn't it? It's, have you had a good game? Have you had a bad game? Have you made a mistake? Are you ultra fatigued? So many things. I think a lot of it is on the players.
You said after the game on Saturday that they were slightly down in the dressing room.
Uh-huh.
So what have you done to try and bring them back up again? Or naturally, did they come back up again?
They're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fine.
And I'm not surprised they were down. And
yeah. When I say
so close.
Rich, when I say they were down, they weren't in tears. I didn't have to go around and give them all a hug. They were disappointed they hadn't won the league title. That's fine. If you're not disappointed about that, there's something wrong with you emotionally. So whether they, by the time we got on the bus, the boys were great. They were in good spirits. Playing cards, watching their iPads or whatever. The boys are good. We've got a really good bunch. We've got a great bunch. Really lucky. And in that, we've got some very strong leaders, and they pick people up as well. The fans on the pitch after the game picked them up. You can't. Maybe I worded it wrong. And maybe it came out that the boys were flat and were devastated in the change room. They weren't. They were almost annoyed, a little bit frustrated.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they're fine. The boys are in a good place. They're great.
2 goals, just 2 goals. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's just
2
It's
goals.
going to affect you.
It affects you for as long as you let it affect you. We can all sit here, can't we? And this, if didn't do that, if we done this, the ref done that, if he scored, if didn't hit the post, if Paul Watton didn't make that sub, if it did, it happened.
But you can turn that around. You
Was-
were 2 goals away because
So-
you did things during the season that
So
made positive impact.
You have to. Everything's got to be positive.
Yeah.
There is not 1 ounce of negativity that should be portrayed going into this game. Not 1 ounce of it. We finished as the second best team in the league. If people agree with that or not, there'll be a lot of people think Truro weren't the best team in the league. They were. They won the league. So it's we're in a good run of form, right? The boys are in a good place. We've got a sellout. We're fully aware we're playing an excellent team. A top team. Top team. And we got to be ready for it. There's no givens in football, but we'll be ready.
Does your for a playoff game like this? I mean, last Saturday, in some ways, almost felt like a playoff
It
game
did.
because it was.
It did, yeah.
It was almost like there was going to be no tomorrow if we
Yeah.
managed to win it. Does the way you approach this in selection, especially having gone up and had a look on Tuesday, this isn't a league match. You haven't got a game. Well, hopefully got a game, another game, but it's not part of a programme of matches. Have more thoughts gone through your head about might do this, might do that, might do the other, or do you try and push that away and just say no, come on, this is another game, pick the best 11 that I think, that sort of stuff?
I think it's. I'm clear in my head of the team I'm going to play, and the way we're going to play. It's a game of football. We need to win. It's a shootout, isn't it? It's a shootout. You could sit there and go through all sorts of formations. Do I follow my gut? Do I go with my heart? Bit of both with some decisions. So we'll see. We'll see.